Hello and welcome to the Brick News, a weekly show on all things brick building where we talk about set updates and announcements from all the major brands, MOCs of the week, and a few reading recommendations as well. Information is presented as always by setb.org, the best source for set information on the internet, and this is where we are going to go. As always, we go through the brands in alphabetical order, talking about set updates here, and we will start with BAKA, with the Ancient Warship, the 33303 2073 pieces. I've seen this set for the very first time with a Chinese retailer. So far, I haven't seen it with any retailers in other regions like Europe or North America. But anyhow, this bad boy has, like I said, slightly above 2,000 pieces. Don't know exactly the size. I mean, you could start counting the studs, but it's not a small ship. Relatively massively built. There's a ton. There is a cloth sail in there included as well. And what is interesting is that they used rigid hoses basically to stabilize the masts and everything. So it's not using any kind of regular kind of rope stuff that you have to cut yourself and stuff like that. What you see with many Chinese brands, like for instance with the Mould King Black Pearl ships, but this thing is rather simple and straightforward, which I think is a great benefit. The masts are from the standard piece as well, so not really bricked or using Technic pieces, but the standard mast piece, if you will. So I think this should also work very well for kids. I'm not sure the shields on the side. This looks like a regular, I guess, 3x3 round tile. So I assume that these are stickers that are applied and no pad printed pieces, but can't be sure at this point in time. With that, we're moving on to BlueBrixx. Here we have a ton of availabilities over here in Europe. I mean, it is a European brand. I think they do ship across the pond, but most and foremost, of course, they deliver here in Europe. As always, keep in mind when I talk about prices, that includes over here in Europe value add tax, which is not the case in several other countries of the world. Anyhow, 107786, the medieval guardhouse, now available. This is part of the Blaustein series. What you can basically see here, and I think I've talked about this in the past, is that you have connection points with the palisade from the BlueBrixx castle. So if you take a look at, I don't know, for instance here at the way BlueBrixx, the Blaustein castle, I'm sorry, is going to look like after the gatehouse extension is added, then basically you can also use put these kind of buildings, and they have created several of these at this point in time, and integrate them directly into the palisade. And of course, you can also extend the palisade with the palisade expansion. So in general, I think it's quite easy to make this as big as you want, and I think I've talked about this in the past. Medieval horse stable, for instance, could be integrated as well. The medieval armorer, and I think there was also a few other sets as well. Anyhow, 107786, and this thing has 2,753 pieces. BlueBrixx is asking over here for $100. That's 3.6 cents a piece, not too shabby. With that, we're moving on to the training centers. So this is typically how this may look like, I guess, over here in Germany with Deutsche Bahn, the German railway organization, but I guess it can also be easily adapted to other countries as well. The BB sign actually stands for BlueBrixx and not for Deutsche Bahn, which would be DB. Anyhow, 2,592 pieces. BlueBrixx asking for $100, 3.9 cents a piece. Then we have the drift car, the 107810, now available for the 342 pieces. BlueBrixx is asking for $13, 3.8 cents a piece. And then coming to a more interesting set, I do believe, especially for kids. So BlueBrixx has done several unicorn sets. Let me see if I can find them. Yes, for instance, they had this unicorn wonder garden, but there were also, I think, other unicorn packs as well. I can't really find them right now. Anyhow, my understanding is the idea is that you can then put your unicorns in here as well. The box has several German words, but basically Einhorn is German for unicorn, and then the Schloss is basically the castle, if you will. Actually, we have in German two different words. One is more like for a lofty, beautiful castle that is called a Schloss. while a castle that is more like rugged and for defensive purposes, most and foremost, is called a burg, just FYI. Anyhow, Flameborn is my understanding is the name of the one unicorn that is also unique to the set that is included. 2,347 pieces, again $100, 4.3 cents a piece. Then we have 2 army sets from the BlueBrixx series that are now also available. I will, as always, link these sets down below in the video description or in the podcast show notes, so you could check them out. But I personally don't think that this series is that interesting. From my point of view, Cobi has a lot more interesting tanks to offer. But I think to this day, Cobi is not doing a Leopard 1. Let me check this one out. Leopard 1, I think... No, that's a Leopard 2. These are all Leopard 2s. So no, I don't think that... okay, BlueBrixx has done themselves one in their 1x30 collaboration that they do with Xingbao. But I think this is the first one from the BlueBrixx series. They're a bit smaller, I guess. They're a bit more like the 1x48 or one... I guess something in that ballpark, I would assume. Anyhow, let's move forward to another announcement. A tuned muscle car red. These are kind of 6-stud cars, so not really like, it's not really like a speed champion. I think they're also not designed with minifigures in mind. You can see this, they use slopes instead of panel/window pieces. So this is at this point in time just an announcement. So this red muscle car is gonna have 186 pieces. And it's a lot smaller, like I said, compared to what, for instance, LEGO calls a speed champion. However, available is a kind of a black variant of this one, the tuned black car 107816. Just to give you an example, what kind of price point is to expect for these kind of cars, $7 in this case, 4 cents a piece. The same is true for the gray off-road vehicle, same from the same BlueBrixx line by BlueBrixx. This thing is going to cost you $10, 3.8 cents a piece, and I guess it's supposed to be a Mercedes G-Class. Anyhow, there's also the Hunter's Perch available now by BlueBrixx, the 107951. I don't know how this is in different or other countries, but I think this is quite common over here in Germany in the woods, where hunters basically are sitting in the morning, I guess, when the sun is rising to shoot deer. 107951 by BlueBrixx. 221 pieces, $8, 3.6 cents a piece. And then they have available which 2 sets that I personally really like. And these, this is first the kiosk, and then they have the parking lot. And the idea is basically to have a 16x32 stud in between, if you will, between modular buildings. So they have the Technic connection points, they have the 1x2 Technic bricks to connect them to regular modular buildings. Of course, you don't have to use the Technic pins to do this, but anyhow, the idea is that you can have something that you can slice in between modular buildings, which I personally really like, and I think a lot more manufacturers should do this because, of course, I mean, not everyone is, you know, is in the market to create their own MOCs around their modular buildings, but definitely it helps the modular building concept if you have options like these. And I think companies should do a lot more, like, I don't know, like a tennis court, or I don't know, maybe like a pool or a garden, a closed garden, parking lots, like I said, all the kind of stuff that you would like to throw in to, you know, basically have something between your modulars. Anyhow, this thing is now available. So in this case, the kiosk, the 107788 by BlueBrixx, $18, 4.6 cents a piece. And the other set, 107789, is the parking lot. And this one is 313 pieces for $14, 4.5 cents a piece. Then we have another announcement of, personally, I think, quite an interesting and beautiful building, the 108648, the Wheat Shop. I don't know, this may not be for you, but I do believe it is a charming building, depending on how what your stance is on wheat and being sold in public. Anyhow, I think it is a nice building. It's based on masonry bricks. The only thing that I personally don't like that much is that the walls, if you look at the masonry bricks, the way they are designed, I think the walls are not that robust because basically the corners are not directly interlocked, if you will. Just a little bit across the roof, or below the roof. but in general, I think it is a pretty nice design. You can open it on the back. Just keep in mind, this is not full modular building. It's basically half of it. ModBrixx or BlueBrixx has done multiple of these. And yeah, I mean, you have basically what they're doing here. They are growing a wheat and they are selling it, I guess. And they're even delivering it because they have a small delivery truck as part of this as well. Also available is the Modern House 107643. I guess that is a set that is mostly targeted at children, I guess. And I personally really like the concept because it has a ton of large pieces like regular bricks, which I personally prefer a lot compared to, for instance, what Lego is doing nowadays, because Lego Friends and City sets are basically a bunch of panels and minifigures, and that's it. It's not really brick built sets anymore, at least in large parts. And this is very different here, and you can see this also at the price point. BlueBrixx is asking for 35 bucks. Which is 5 cents a piece. Sounds high, but only 3.2 cents per gram, because there are 700 pieces in there, but it is 1.1 kilograms. And don't ask me what this is in pound. I don't know. But I can tell you that that is actually a lot. So commonly for many manufacturers, you can basically say in metric system, 1 gram is 1 piece. That is an average that, in fact, a lot of sets have. But this one here goes a lot higher, and the reason you can see this in the design, it's quite a simple design, but it includes a ton of bricks, so there's a lot of stuff for kids to build. And also, if they don't like the set anymore, they have a ton of parts that they can use to build their own worlds, right? Which I personally think is a lot cooler than, for instance, what companies like Lego are doing nowadays. Because with a Lego Friends or Lego City set, it's very hard to build something else from it because it has so many weird pieces in it. Anyhow, let's move on to 107944 Stargate Advent Calendar. So you may not be familiar with these, but because this is kind of a European tradition, I think. Advent calendars, not very well known in other regions of the world, but the basic idea is starting December 1st until the December 24th, you open something like, I don't know, hidden door, and then you get a chocolate, stuff like that. But of course, you can do this with bricks very well. So I guess the idea here is that you have like small micro builds, but if you look at this picture, I'm not so sure. It shows more like, how many is that? 10 microbuilds, not 24. So I'm not. My guess is that you may, I don't know, that some of these is basically like, maybe any of these microbuilds is more like 2 days. For instance, first the build and then the minifigure, something like that. Because there's actually, I think, 50 minifigures or something like that included, which is quite a lot. BlueBrixx is asking for 40 bucks, 4.7 cents a piece. Not too shabby, because you have 844 pieces in there. You have a Stargate license, and you have, like I said, I do believe 1, 3, 5. Yeah, it's 15 minifigures. All of them, I think 2 of them look similar, but everything else is like a unique minifigure. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm personally the biggest fan of the BlueBrixx minifigure than it's by itself, but it's still, I think, a pretty cool idea. Anyhow, Advent Calendar Stargate BlueBrixx. With that, we're moving on to the Typhoon Anti-Aircraft Missile Truck 108649, again from the ModBrixx line. This is just an announcement at this point in time. As always with BlueBrixx, we get pictures, we get the piece count, but no idea what's going to cost. 564 pieces though. And then we have a couple more availabilities of these more cars. Again, I will go through them very briefly. I will link them all down below. And we also have the Angry Dog Owner brick body. I guess it's kind of a brick body. BlueBrixx doesn't call it that, I think, but because it's from the ModBrixx line and not from the BlueBrixx Pro line, but basically it's a concept. So very similar from the idea than a brick hat by Lego, but it has 292 pieces, so it's definitely a lot larger. BlueBrixx is asking for 12 bucks, 4.1 cents a piece. We are talking about the 107848. Then we have a set, I think I never talked about this before because I totally missed it, or maybe BlueBrixx directly went from announcement and availability in a very short time frame, but there's a Christmas fair like very European style Christmas fair. Of course, there's Santa Claus included, which is more like an US import into Europe. Historically, we have, I think, not been that much into a Santa in this Coca-Cola look, but a 107742 is a set with that's gonna cost you $60, and they do have 11 minifigures included in this one as well, which is again a lot. And then you have the fair itself, and yeah, to a certain degree it looks quite authentic. I would argue that there are fairs that looks like this. Maybe the Christmas tree is more like an indoor Christmas tree and not how you would make it look like on the outside, but I think it should work quite well. And then you have the Western train, the General, a locomotive available now, 107674. BlueBrixx is asking for $50, 4.5 cents a piece, not too shabby. I think this one can't be electrified, at least I wouldn't know how. So I guess in this case, if you want to run this on a track, which I think it should be able to do, it looks like this, or looks like it. My guess is you have to electrify one of the cars then. I think BlueBrixx has also a couple of cars available that should work well with the Western train. And then you have a World War II bunker with flag, the 107937 flag. I don't know, the cannon itself, I think it's kind of German 8.8 flag, maybe something like that. Anyhow, it is a cool bunker by means, I guess, especially if you're a Cobi collector and you need something basically for your diorama in between, then I think this one should be pretty cool. So I don't know, having this like a German bunker and then getting attacked by Shermans or stuff, or by troops, I guess more than by a tank, I think should look pretty cool. Or maybe use the flag to shoot at your airplane, something like that. Could be quite a thing. BlueBrixx is asking for this one for $43, 3.4 cents a piece. And then last but not least, the Sapphire City Bank is now available as well, 107889. I think it's a pretty cool building. BlueBrixx is asking for $75, 3.5 cents a piece. And I think it looks quite nice. The only thing is that usually these pieces that they use, the Kunlun material that is typically in BlueBrixx specials, they quite often suffer from micro scratches, and dark colors like dark brown but also dark green really suffer from that. So the question is how good does it look in reality? However, if you have a ton of micro scratches, and to a certain degree it makes the set of course more realistic, right? So I think depending on where you stand on micro scratches, this could be for you or maybe not. But the brick design itself is quite nice, and of course the price point is quite amazing. With that, moving on to Cobi, here we have only one set that is unfortunately I've not yet seen it anywhere in the US, but over here in Europe. In fact, Brickmo, a retailer from Austria, is asking for $53 in pre-order. This is a Panavia Tornado IDS. My understanding is actually I made a mistake this morning when I met the German show. Fortunately, I was corrected. So this is not the ECR version, but the IDS version, and this is basically like a bomber version of the Tornado. So the Tornado was, or is still, I guess, I think it's still in use, a multi-purpose fighter jet, and so it can be, there are different variants over here in Europe used, for instance, by the Italian Air Force, which is actually this one here. 5894 by Cobi, 493 pieces, 2 minifigs, Italian airmen, I do believe Air Force pilots, and yeah, here you go. And then you have electronic countermeasures included and a Sidewinder rocket included, which actually does not really sound like, yeah, I guess this, I don't know. I was told IDS is a bomber version. However, this loadout sounds more like, you know, with the Sidewinders, sounds more like a different thing, right? I don't know. Anyhow, ECM included, Sidewinder included, and you can even correctly fold the wings. And that's about that. With that, moving on to Funhole. And here we have from the Steampunk series, the Steampunk City Bridge 9047. I think I've never talked about this one before. However, I've already built it. I will publish a review in very short order. However, on my German YouTube channel, sorry about that. Video reviews I still do only in German, but over time I may publish in an English version of the short / TikTok. Anyhow, It's a pretty cool set. It's enormous in size, so it's like 83 centimeters, or that's almost 33 inches. So this thing is really huge. It's not that deep, so I should go very well on the shelf or on a sideboard, something like that. But it is a pretty cool set. Yeah, and there's not much to criticize about it. It's just a good and robust set. It's not something where I was completely flashed, like I've been with many of the smaller funhole sets. Personally, I think for my personal taste, this thing is simply too big to handle, but it is a very nice and well done set. It has a ton of minifigures included, and of course the funhole party piece. Lots of lighting. And with that, we are moving on. Oh no, we should talk about prices first, shouldn't we? This is already on Amazon US already, at $200 US at Amazon, which I think is a pretty astonishing price. 6.3 cents a piece, 5.5 cents per gram. And again, don't know what this is in Imperial. I've done this on size, so I guess I should also do this on weight, right? And provide Imperial numbers as well, because I need to Cetibit to calculate this for me, because I can't do it. Anyhow, $200 is not too shabby, and I guess also, depending on where you live, Amazon is the best way to buy this one. I think usually Funhole is listing their sets over here in Europe with Amazon Germany, Amazon UK, and Amazon US. Those for sure. At this point in time, however, it's only available at Amazon US. But if you're living in a different country, you can of course also order from Funhole directly. $238 in this case. However, keep in mind, Funhole is usually doing very good discounts, especially around events like Amazon Prime Days or, of course, Black Fridays around the corner. So, yeah, just check it out. You could check it out on Amazon. Also, what Funhole is doing sometimes is just adding like a 20% discount code, stuff like that, even outside of events like Black Friday. But I would assume that you will also see pretty nice discounts on this one. Anyhow, let's move on to a set that is actually not yet listed by Funhole themselves. I've just seen it with Chinese retailers, and this is a Steampunk Flying Club. 9050, 1,858 pieces, and you can buy this in Asia for around $135. But keep in mind, your mileage may vary depending on where you live, because shipping is actually quite high. So depending on where you live, of course, price may be entirely different. With that, we're moving on to Lego, and here we have Lego has announced the Art Love artwork. My understanding is that the original is now 55 years old, so this may be the reason why Lego is doing it. However, I think it is quite a beautiful design. I think it does reflect the original quite well. It is, I think, also interesting because it may even be something, I don't know, if you're in the situation that you're in the hobby, but your spouse, for instance, is not, so you're not allowed to put your Lego into your living room. But I think this one here may convince some people, because it is a very clean design, almost doesn't look like Lego. And what I also really like is all the building techniques. I think it's quite astonishing. I would really like to build it just to see how they made some of these angles and shapes. So very well done. Beautiful design. BlueBrixx, no, not BlueBrixx. Lego, of course, is asking for $80 US. That's 10 cents a piece. That's not on the cheap side, considering there are no minifigures, no prints, and no specific license or anything like that. Just a couple of bricks, but I don't know. Let's see. Of course, if that price is fine for you, depends, or I guess it's up to you. Anyhow, with that, we're moving on to the new Chinese festival set that will release December 25. I can't really recall if this has always been the case. Usually Chinese New Year sets, I always assumed Lego would start selling them January 1st, which is not the Chinese New Year for sure, but I think this is always when they started to sell them. But anyhow, it does say by Lego that December 24th, we're going to start, and I may be wrong here, this may have been already the case in recent years. Anyhow, 80117 is the Chinese festival's Good Fortune, and yeah, it's a pretty neat set, especially from the building technique side. I really like the two birds. They are quite amazing. I mean, they're very, very tiny micro builds, but they look amazing. Interesting piece use in here as well. Also, if you look at the vase, which has a pretty neat print as well, which looks really nice. But they're also, like I said, across the board, pretty cool. building techniques. Lego is asking for $90 US, 8.8 cents a piece. And then you have the Chinese festival Trotting Lantern. My English may be the issue here, but I guess it's pronounced Trotting Lantern, right? 80116 by Lego. It has 7 minifigures included. I think it should be like 6 minifigures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, only 5 minifigures, but they look quite neat. Personally, what I never really like with these minifigures in these kind of sets, it's similar to icons, that they are basically the most simple minifigures Lego can make, right? There is no dual mold legs in there, no printed legs, no printed hips, no printed arms. It's just the simple stuff, not as good as even Star Wars is better most of the times, but for sure Ninjago, Monkey Kid, stuff like that. But I think overall still the torsos are nicely printed. However, 2 of them are identical. So basically you get 2 traditional Chinese flavored prints and then 2 more regular printed torsos as well. The build itself looks quite neat. The big question for me is, are these windows pad printed or are they stickers? In case they are stickers, I would really hate that because this will look ugly over time. And it's actually a ton of that. But yeah, it may be pet prints. I just don't know. All in all, I think it's quite an interesting and nice design. And then last but not least, the Lucky Cat 40813 is the smallest of the bunch. And it's going to cost you $30 US. And yeah, I mean, it's a cat. So, and it's a relatively small cat. So from my point of view, $30 is a bit too pricey. But may depend on you. For sure, it's cheaper than the Ideas cat. Anyway, with that, we are moving on to my personal highlight of the week, the Endurance, the new icon set for this year's Black Friday 10335. I think last year Lego skipped this release, if I recall correctly. Before that, we had, of course, the Titanic, the Eiffel Tower, the Colosseum, sets like these. And from that bunch, this one here is for sure the smallest one. It has only 3,011 pieces. Lego is asking for $270 US, 9 cents a piece. That's not on the cheap side, but I think it is a very well done set. To be honest, I mean, when I saw this for the first time, I was immediately thinking, oh gosh, why is Cobi not doing this? Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Lego design team has done an amazing job, but long story short, Cobi could do it better with their building techniques that they have, right? So, and it's totally fine that Lego is doing this, and I'm really looking forward to build this one. Love it. But it just showed me, my desire for years now that Cobi should do more civilian ships. Because I think this would be so amazing if Cobi, with all their amazing building techniques and all the slopes that they have at their disposal, if they would throw this into more civilian ships. I mean, they have done this amazing Titanic many years ago, but since then, not many civilian ships. Sailing ships, clippers, but also, I don't know, from my point of view, Cobi could also do an amazing job going back to Napoleon times, stuff like that, doing the HMS Victory, stuff like that would be absolutely amazing. Yes, I know the Victory is a military ship, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Doing more stuff than just battleships and aircraft carriers from First and Second World War. I think there's so much more stuff that Cobi could do. Anyhow, let's come back to Lego. I think they have done an amazing job here. Really looking forward to build it. However, it does not have any minifigures included, but if you buy it around a release, the Lego is throwing in a gift with purchase, Shackleton's Lifeboat 40729. And here you have 2 minifigures included, which are relatively simple, but I guess the story was that they used their lifeboats. So basically, I do think that this boat is basically one of the white boats that you see on the Endurance itself, of course, in a different scale. And basically, they used sleds to transport it, and as soon as they reach water, they used like a rig that they built themselves to basically sail with these into safety. Anyhow, it's a good first purchase. As always, Lego's giving us a price, but you can't buy it for this money from Lego. With that, we're moving on to Monkey Kit, and here we have 2 new sets announced for January 1st, 80066 and 65. 66 is the mythical creature, really beautiful design, I do believe. Monkey Kit is really a cool series, similar to Ninjago. There's a ton of gold pieces in here, and I'm not 100% sure, but it does look like on this picture that this is metallic gold, and so not pearl gold, which would be absolutely amazing, but I'm just guessing here at this point. All in all, quite a neat design with the typical Monkey Kit minifigure lineup. And just look at this dude here on the left. I don't know who he is, but look at the quality of the material, the investment, right? I mean, this is minifigure collectible series standard, and this is what I was talking about before. You see this quite a lot with Monkey Kit, with Ninjago, with Dreams. So many of the Kit series that are Lego's own license, if you will, or own IP, they get all the bells and whistles, and all the licensed stuff usually doesn't get not, but also many other 18+ series like Icons don't get this kind of quality, and this is, I don't know, something that I personally don't understand. But anyhow, we're moving on to the second Monkey Kit set, the 80065 Erlang's Celestial Mech. May have pronounced this entirely wrong here. My apologies. $90, 11.2 cents a piece. By the way, did I mention the mythical creature is $70, 8.8 cents a piece. With that, we are done with Lego. Moving on to Mega or Mega Construx. I still call it Mega Construx. I think Mattel prefers to call it Mega nowadays, at least the regular brick size. I think the kind of Lego Duplo equivalent is nowadays called Mega Blocks, I think. It's weird. I don't know why Mattel is changing this all the time. I will keep calling it Mega Construx. Anyhow, they have a Fallout license, so they have created the Fallout Red Rocket, to my knowledge, but keep me honest here, this is from Fallout 4. It's kind of a gas station, I guess. I don't have any prices yet and no place where you can actually buy it, or I don't have a link, let's put it that way. But I do know that it has 824 pieces, 2 minifigs, and what I call 2 animals. Actually, you have the dog, and then you have the small dude. I don't know, what's it called? Tomboy? No, I don't know. I don't know. I've never played it, so I should stop guessing. I don't know. That is why I have 2 animals in here. It's actually just 1 animal. No, it's 2. There's also, no, this is something different. No, I don't know. Anyhow, you have 1 minifigure, and then you have the mech suit. You have the nuke cola, which I think is so amazing. And of course, in typical Mega/Mattel fashion, you have like a bazillion different new colors that you may, I guess, will be seeing in this set for the very first time, and I guess also for the very last time, because very often they do these colors only for 1 set. I mean, if you look at the mech suit, this almost looks like a painted minifig, like Warhammer style, which I think is really astonishing, and a kind of quality that you never see with any other brand. So that's quite amazing what Mega is doing here with their action figures. And yeah, you can actually throw the minifigure head on the mech as well, but technically it's like 2 separate minifigures, or I guess Mega Construx figures you should rather call action figures and not minifigures. Anyhow, we're moving on to Mould King, and here we have seen for the very first time the black-capped lorry 10150. So 2 birds basically sitting here, 1052 pieces, and you can buy this in China starting from $33, which would be 3.2 cents a piece. But again, shipping may vary a lot, actually, depending on where you live. And then you have another engine by Mould King, the 10171 in this case, LSX 454 V8 engine. Yeah, it's a Technic set. It has a motor included, or it is electrified. It has only 487 pieces, so it's one of the smaller ones. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems to be a big thing for Mould King, because I think this is already the 4th engine that they have done in different price ranges and sizes. I think up to 2,000 pieces. So I guess there's a community who likes to build engines. And then we have from Pantasy 2 additional Kung Fu Panda sets. First, Adventure Park Pirate Shipwright 86516. Right now, you can buy this one only directly from Pantasy. And piece count, please keep in mind, I guess this is only a guess at this point in time because Pantasy is usually not giving us any precise piece counts. Anyhow, 20 bucks. For the set, it has the panda itself, so one minifigure. Don't really know, it's hard to see from these pictures if this is pet printed or stickers. Looks more like a sticker, but not sure. Pantasy is usually working with a combination of stickers and prints in most of their sets. And yeah, it's quite a beautiful thing, and I think it should work very well for a Kung Fu Panda fan, but also, I mean, just if you have an amusement park in your diorama or in your Lego city, something like that, you could throw this one in as well. And then you have accompanying set the Adventure Park, the training camp of the Adventure Park 86515. And this one is again gonna cost you 19 or 20 bucks directly from Pantasy. And then last but surely not least, you have from Wange the Prophet's Mosque in, I guess, in Medina, right? 4228. And this one is right now only listed, but with a European retailer, BlueBrixx in this case. It has 875 pieces, so I don't have yet any buying options directly from China. I guess this will follow over time. What is interesting about this one, this design here, is that, I mean, it's typically for a Wange architecture set that it is on these kind of base plate construction thingies. But usually they are dark bluish gray and not black, and usually these sets have like a golden plaque and not a black one. But most and foremost, what I really like about this one, that it's very tight, so the entire set basically fits extremely well the space. This is not very common with Wange. Very often these base plates are a lot bigger than the actual architecture set, and as a result you see like a bazillion uncovered studs around it. This is something that they have done a lot in the past, so let me just check. Maybe I can give you an example what I'm talking about. So this here, for instance, this Korean set is what I'm talking about. This is what you see a lot. Like you have these fences around, and then you have a ton of open studs, which I personally never really like. But sometimes Wange manages to get this very tight, and as a result, basically everything is covered with either the building or tiles, which is very neat. 875 pieces. Again, I don't know a price point yet. With that, we are coming to a couple of reading recommendations. I have taken a look at my first MicroBrixx set from the GAU, in this case back to the 1990s radio. I think I talked about this already last week, that a review is in the work, 662018. And yeah, it's quite an interesting retro. I mean, I'm a kid of the 80s. I mean, I'm born 79, so yes, I spent a lot of time in the 80s and 90s and with my childhood, so I do remember these radios or ghetto blasters. Never in this rainbow color scheme. Usually they're more like silver and yes, gray silver or maybe black. This is what I recall personally. Of course, people were also throwing stickers on them and stuff like that, but I mean, this rainbow version is quite nice. It has a ton of stickers included, which is not what I really like. It has also a couple of construction issues, like for instance, the cassette deck itself is usually the four studs holding it are not really working out that well. In a nutshell, they used like a 3L pin here, but I think they would have done a lot better using two 2L pins on every side so that everything is connected together. But they did not, and as a result, at least in our copy, it does fall off a lot. But anyhow, all in all, quite a neat set. And then we come to one of my highlights of this year, to be honest. And I'm not really into Formula One, but BAKA has released, and I did talk about the set, the Kick Sauber F1 Team C44 2024 edition. So, I mean, Sauber, of course, the team from, oh my God, Sauber is Switzerland or Austria? I'm sorry, my ignorance. Again, I'm not really into Formula One. Anyhow, I think this has been the Alfa Romeo team until last season, and now it is the Kick team, so that's why the car is now green, bright green in this case, which looks really amazing. But the true astonishing thing about this one, besides it is a very neat car design, But what really astonished me a lot is that this set is entirely pet printed. Everything is, oh no, there are a couple of UV direct prints, but it's all of it is printed. There is no sticker in the set, which I think is quite astonishing, because in the past, the problem was that companies like Rasta or Lego would do a couple of prints combined with stickers. BAKA was basically doing no prints, similar to Mould King. And now BAKA is 100% prints. So they basically went to the pole position, if you will. And when it comes to, at the end of the day, quality in the box. They also have these new tires. These are slicks. You have small ones in the front, larger ones in the back. So basically, they crushed Lego, if you ask me. So this thing is not comparable at all to Lego's, what is the current one, the McLaren, because this thing is just so much better than anything that Lego has ever done. It's quite astonishing. I mean, personally, I'm not really a petrolhead, so I can't make an argument on if the brick design is really good or really reflecting the original very well. But just from the brick quality, brick design, and all the stuff that they have in here, it's quite amazing. Also, the halo is a new piece, which looks really amazing. Very often, other companies are just using a rigid hose for this one, but this one looks a lot better. Everything else is just standard pieces, but like I said, everything is printed, amazing tires. Not everything is perfect in this thing, but all in all, quite neat and nice, and it costs basically a very similar price than what Lego is usually asking for a Speed Champion. However, while you do have all this quality in here, you don't have, of course, a minifig, which has more legal reasons, because Lego is really taking care of making sure that no company is copying their minifigure. Anyhow, another review that I did was on 4 SpongeBob sets by Area X. Area X is a sub-brand, I think, of Zembo. These are 4 sets that I looked at. I called them the houses. So it's basically 4 small SpongeBob SquarePants houses. And again, I was really astonished by all the quality that is in here. So first of all, you have all these amazing minifigures. These 4 sets, all of them include also a SpongeBob, and they have different prints all 4 times, which is quite astonishing. The sets themselves are also quite neat. The only thing that I really did not like that much, because I'm generally not a big fan of these acrylic boxes you can throw this thing in, because of course you have to pay. They are done in a very high value, prints and everything. They are very crystal clear. I've never seen one. I mean, oh, that's not fair. I think Mould King is also doing quite nice of these quite nice acrylic boxes using for their 8-stud vehicles, what Lego is calling a Speed Champion. But these things are, they have all the prints and everything. And again, the acrylic quality is quite astonishing. The pieces are also very, very good. As far as I can tell, most of them were BlueBrixx. And again, no stickers in these sets. Everything is printed. Not all of it is pet printed. In fact, a lot of these are UV direct prints, and I use my macro lens here to basically show you what the difference is, because I'm talking about this a lot, like the difference between UV direct print and pet print. So the banknote is a pet print. And as you can see, it's a lot clearer. The great benefit of UV direct print is that you can basically do a bazillion color combinations that are close to impossible to do with pet print, because every color needs an extra print. So I think it's a good decision here to use this combination. Sometimes they use UV direct prints if it gets, more complicated. You have a ton of color. And quite frankly, I mean, this is my macro lens doing this for you. But of course, in reality, it looks all quite neat. All in all, 4 amazing sets. However, they are not on the cheap side. So I guess I think usually each one of those goes for like 25 to 30 bucks. Of course, you can buy them in bundles, which make them cheaper. So you may want to check them out. But all in all, quite neat sets. And also everything around, like the boxes are really, really beautiful. Nowadays, most manufacturers do a much better job than Lego does when it comes to boxes and packaging. So these may also be a good idea or thing if you want to make them a present. There's also other stuff in here, like business cards for the main figure of the set, stuff like that. quite astonishing sets. With that, we're moving on to MOCs of the week, and here we have by Gobsmack the Ultimate Modular Harry Potter Castle Grounds bundle. So, like the name suggests, it is a bundle, and I must say this is really an amazing MOC. I mean, of course, it is a compromise, like it's not truly minifigure scale. I mean, minifigure scale Hogwarts is big as a house, but I think it is a good compromise, a lot better than any of the playsets that, for instance, Lego does. It has the Quidditch field included. I think it has most of the important buildings included, all in a very neat size. And however, all in all, if you want to build the entire thing, you will need 13,000 pieces, and not too shabby. Gobsmack is asking for $70 US, which I think is totally fine. And if you really want to build this, the least of your problems. With that, we're moving on to a bed and breakfast by Rebel Neely. 2,490 pieces. It actually looks like less, but I guess it's quite detailed. Very interesting roof design. Never seen this one before. It looks really amazing. Interesting combination of these curved slopes and these roof pieces. Very well done. Also really like the tree. It's very compact, but still looks very authentic. The lantern is also quite nice, but of course, as you may already guess from the piece count, it's also very detailed on the inside. Looks very beautiful. This is only a render though, so this, I guess, it has not been built for real, but it looks amazing. The only thing that I would change is putting a few more studs at least on the floor so that you can attach your minifigures. But all in all, quite a neat design. And then by Chris Romans, if you are not in the market for the Lego's new X mansion because you don't like the set, but you like the idea and the concept, this may be for you. Chris Romans has created this mansion with 393 pieces, so it's kind of a micro build as he usually does. Keep in mind then that the very interesting thing about these is my point of view, that not only it is a beautiful design, but the designer is also doing this for kind of like almost any interesting Lego set. And as a result, of course, I guess I can't find it right now, but I'm pretty sure somewhere will also be the Daily Bugle and sets like these. So of course you can combine this. Yeah, here for instance, you have the Daily Bugle. And other Marvel-related sets as well. So, yeah, I mean, doesn't this look amazing? Quite frankly, this should be the future of Lego, if you ask me. Either go full on minifigure or do this here. But yeah, I mean, personally, I'm not really a big fan of Lego's interpretation of the mansion, so I would rather go for this one. Anyhow, I hope you liked the show. For those of you who watch this on YouTube, please leave a like or comment, or even better, subscribe to the channel. For you podcast listeners, TikTok viewers, just do your thing on the platform where you are, like rate, like, subscribe, follow. I don't know, it's called different on any platform, but it's all very, very highly appreciated. Thank you very much, and thanks for listening. See you next week.